So in this presentation, what I'm going to be doing is talking about how adding a rating system into our mobile standards website. What I'm proposing to do is allowing the user to have when you see the list of papers, click on a link which says rating, and they can then go and rate the paper. Okay. Now, the easiest way of doing that will be to add it to the very front page, the mobile standards.aspx page, which has got the list of papers, which when you actually run it, this is what we currently see. It's just as you've seen many times before, just a list of papers. Here we've currently got a kind of a link here, which goes directly to the paper, a link which says discuss, which goes to a discussion page. Now what we're going to do is just amend the function which does that, and then we're going to add a link to a ratings page. Okay, so let's close that, and let's get out of the browser and go back into the coding. Now, of course, as we've done the website, we've learned much more as we've gone on, and you can see that actually when we first created this page, we did it in a quite primitive way, in as much as we coded a lot of we didn't use things like grid views and repeaters and data sources and things. We actually manually hand coded it and creating tables within code. Now, in some circumstances that is justified. Probably it is better, however, to use the kind of built-in controls really for this sort of thing. However, it does mean we've got quite a lot of freedom, and so what we can do is this is the function getCellWithText is a function which adds the link to the discussion page. And as you see, it's quite simple. dim h1 as hl as hyperlink, hl text discuss, navigate URL takes you to the discussion page, and then you add that control into that cell. Okay, and then you're all happy. First of all, of course, you have the kind of a little kind of pipe symbol here, which puts a little straight vertical line between the title and the link to the discussion. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add another pipe symbol in, so I can separate the discussion link to the ratings link. So I'm going to kind of paste that in there. Oh dear, I pasted the wrong thing. Wait a minute, let's try again. Control Z. Something's gone wrong here. Wait a minute. Okay, so now let me just do that again. I'm going to select my controls, add, and now I'm going to add that to underneath the first hyperlink, which goes to the discussion page, and then I'm going to have another hyperlink which is going to take me to the ratings page. So I'm going to just select this text. So dim hl as hyperlink. I'm going to call this ratings hyperlink. As new hyperlink. Ratings hyperlink.text is going to be rate. Okay, and then there's going to be a ratings hyperlink.navigate URL, and that is going to take me to a page that doesn't yet exist, but I'm going to create it. So rate.aspx id equals, and then paper ID is the name of the ID of that paper, in the table of papers. Okay, so my cell controls add, and here I'm going to add ratings hyperlink. Okay, such that what we should get now is, as we play this, we should get a link to the discussion page, and then a link to the ratings page on the same for each insert in the database. So here comes the list of papers shortly, I hope, and as I say, and there it is. You see there, kind of like there's a paper, there's a link to the discussion, and there's a link to the ratings page. Okay, but the ratings page doesn't exist yet. Well, let's just click on the discussion link just to remind ourselves what's in that. At the very top, we have the data about the paper, and then underneath we have the comments that people have put into it. Okay, so we could certainly, this part here, we could basically repeat for the example of the ratings page. Of course, I'm going to repeat it by copying and pasting, which, as I'm sure you all know, is really bad practice. But of course, what I'm trying to do in these tutorials is teach you the principles of ASP.NET, not necessarily using all correct coding, because that would take me absolutely ages. So what I'm going to do now is add a new page. So let's first of all stop the whole system at the moment, and just as we did with the page, which the list papers by weeks, which had the according control. Because we're creating an Ajax page, we're going to say add new item, and it's going to be called rate, as you know. And what I'm going to do is it's going to be an Ajax web form. Okay, so click add, and that will create this Ajax web form on the page. Okay, so here it is. Now what we're going to do, let's kind of copy and paste something from the discussion page, because it's going to behave more or less the same. Let's have a look into the View Designer. Go into the discussion page, View Designer. Okay, and in Design View it's not quite so useful. What we're going to do is get into the code view. So we've got, there you see, we've got that top part of the page. We've got our banner at the top, and then we've got this author label, title label, abstract label. That part is the part we basically need to copy. So let's kind of find where that is. Okay, there it is. It's got table style 1. Okay, and so let's kind of copy and paste all of that from here. Okay, to back into our rate.aspx. Okay, so here's rate.aspx, and underneath our div, I'm going to put it underneath the div, I'm going to put in the code there, which will be now the table. Okay, so we've got the table. We'll also need the code behind, which fills those things with the code that it does on the discussion page. So I also need to go to the discussion page, view code, and I'm going to steal the not this part here, because we're not going to add in any posting, but I'm going to steal all the rest of it. Okay, and I'm going to kind of copy and paste that into my database, so sorry, into my ratings page. Okay, so that's it. Well, I don't need the posting, so I just need that very top level. So I'm going to copy that and then go into rate dot SPX. I'm going to go now into the code, view code, and here I'm going to paste all of that data in the page load. Now then, so as I said, we don't want any of this is post back. The kind of we don't want any of that at all at the moment. We're just going to say, so there's such an article ID, and that works out what the paper ID is. Okay, we will need to add the link to the OLEDB. So imports system.data.oledb. Okay, so that'll allow us all our typical DB commands, and what that should do is then show that page at the top. So let's just check that is working. So let's go into mobile standards.aspx again. Let's open that. Open view code, and then we'll just run it. Okay, so then this should give us our link to a ratings page, and then we'll just check that the ratings page is indeed showing up. Again, a bit slow as usual. Okay, and once we've got that, so so click on rate. Okay, and there we have that obviously not formatted very well. It doesn't look very good. So one thing we can definitely do to improve that is by just adding the style sheet in. So let's kind of on this kind of rate.aspx, let's click on that, and let's just kind of copy in our mobile standard style sheet into the page. Okay, so having done that, it should look a little bit better. But let's just not bother with that now. So then we've added our style sheet. However, that is very important, because the ratings control really does depend on the style sheet. So it's not an inconsequential act, that last one. So we've done that. Now let's in our table here, let's go click on design view. Now we can probably now see our table, and having done that, we can add some extra rows to it now. So this is our table. We haven't got too much styling information, so let's insert a row below. Okay, and again we'll insert another row below as well. for now. The first row below, that's where we're going to put the ratings object. So unfortunately, I don't seem to be able to resize this. So I don't know why, but there it is, and it's worse. So anyway, let's just I'll force it for now. I mean, it's just too boring to try and do it. So width equals 100%. Okay, and that will hopefully mean that the table is full size. Exactly, it does. So now we've done that, I'm going to now put in a rating control. Okay, so let's go now into the Ajax control toolkit. There we are. There's our rating control, and we're going to drag it in. Okay. Now then, it gives you a number of kind of values here: initial rating, maximum rating. Let's just leave it for now a moment. Let's not bother with that too much, because it's now at this point that I need to explain to you a number of fundamental things about the rating control. First of all, it is completely dependent on style sheets and images. A rating control basically has 3 images that it depends on. Basically, an image which represents an empty star, something which is, if you like, reuse. Sort of like if there are if you scored 3 out of 5, you'd have 3 vibrant, colourful stars and 2 kind of hollow, empty stars. That'll be one. So one empty star is an example. The other one is a filled star, okay, and the other one is a saved star. For now, really, it's only the filled and the empty star, which are the most important things. But how does the rating control know where those stars are? Well, basically, it references classes in the style sheet. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in. I'm going to show you the style sheet. So if I go now into mobilestandards.css, open, okay, and this will come to the style sheet. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste now some references to the images I've created. I've created some GIF files which are going to represent my stars. There's my first image, which is the filled rating star, which is going to be a yellow star. There's another image here, which is going to be a empty star. Okay, if we will just paste, and then finally there's going to be another one which is going to be the saved rating star. These are by no means very elegant images for you to look at. Let me just see if I can go to view in open folder in Windows Explorer. There's the one. Okay, so now hopefully I can show you what is in that directory of user images, which is where I've placed my thing. So there's my I don't know if you can see that. There's my thing a.gif. Okay, there's a.gif. Okay, which is going to be my filled star. I've got this is b.gif, which is going to be my empty star. Okay, so those are the 2 fundamental images which are going to be going into my ratings. And the way you actually reference them is to create a class called filled rating star, and this class you specify the background image property of this class. So background image is the name, colon, and the value is this function URL. And then in my case, because I've got a folder called user images, in that kind of user images /a.gif becomes the image for the filled star. b.gif is the image for the empty star, and saved rating star is called image c.gif, which for some reason is not actually used by the rating control. Now then, that's, if you like, those are the 3 images. So that's your rating control must have those 3 images sort specified. Okay, or no, I put that wrongly. It must have three classes that it can reference for the state of a graphic being either filled, empty, or saved. They'll become more clear when I actually link up these classes to the control in the designer. Okay, but there's one other class that is absolutely essential, and that is called rating star, which is a general class which describes, if you like, how much space is necessary for these graphics. Okay, and in my case, I drew them quite large graphics, so I've made them 66 by 66 width and height. And then margin and padding I've made 0. Cursor, this is what the cursor will look like when it goes over this control. Okay, these are the other things. These are just other rather unimportant things, but which are just required by this class in the. Okay. Having set up everything in the style sheet, now we need to somehow connect the rating control to all those classes in the style sheet. Okay, and in the rating control, there are kind of 4 key properties which we associate with some of those classes in the style sheet. Let's just remember what the style sheet has got. Okay, so if we go to mobilestandards.css, you can see. These are the classes: rating star, filled rating star, empty rating star, and saved rating star. So let's go now into those into the code for the control. First of all, let's say star. The first property is star css.class. Okay, and we're going to associate that with the class we called rating star. Okay, so star css.class, that is a fixed property of the rating control, which you must associate with a class you have defined in your style sheet, which describes how big, how much space is set aside for each star. So therefore, it's your responsibility to create a class. You can name it whatever you want. We've named it rating star, but you have to associate that class with this property, which is fixed, star CSS class. Okay. The next one is the empty star CSS class. Okay, so this is another. There's empty star CSS class. That's a fixed property. You have to specify a class that you yourself have defined to represent empty stars. Okay, and in our case, we've created our class called empty rating star in the style sheet, which will be the one used to produce the thing which looks like the empty star. Okay, then we've got the very important filled rating star, and remember in our case that's a kind of yellow filled star. Again, the property is fixed. This does not change. Okay, you always have to specify a class to satisfy this property of the rating control, but then we use the class that we have self-defined called filled rating star. And finally, there's one more, which is a weighting star. So that's you do have to specify this one. I've created a green star for this one, but I frankly don't know what it does. So I mean, but I'm just filling it in because you have to do that. So those are the stars. Those are the important stars so far of this example. However, there are 2 more things we have to specify, default values. A is the first one is the current rating. Current rating means what it's going to currently be scoring, okay? And finally, the max rating. The current rating is also very useful because that's through which you find out what someone else created, okay? What someone else also scored for what the user specified as being their rating. Okay, so now we've established that. Let's now go back into mobile standards and let's run the browser. To just show you now, this at this point, it shouldn't be actually doing anything as such. All it's going to do, it should allow us to click on the rating control and to change the rating control's value. Okay, so but it won't kind of do anything more than that. It's not saving anything to the database. That is what we're going to have to be setting up the database and setting up the way the rating control interacts with the database. Those are the things that we're going to be doing in a subsequent presentation. Unfortunately, I'm still waiting now for Firefox to start, so I'm having to put a load of a filler here while I wait for the browser to appear. But this rating control is a very useful and powerful tool, especially in Web 2.0 style websites, where getting user opinions is so absolutely central and important. Okay, and anyway, so here comes the browser finally, and which probably most likely at this very point, because I haven't logged in yet. I'm going to have to be logging in as one of the users of this website. So I'm going to kind of log in most recently created user Arthur. Okay, and the password is the same one I put into all the other ones. So now we're should be seeing the full list of papers in the Mobile Standards website, and from that there should be a link to a ratings page, and in the ratings page itself there should be the control. Okay, so here it is. I'm going to click on the rate tool here. So I'm trying to rate the very first paper here. Okay, so now you see I've got my rating control. Now you see, as my mouse goes over it, it kind of it sort of like changes colour. Okay, so indicates if I click now on 5, that now is fixed on 5, you see. So now I move my mouse away from it. Okay, and now I click on 3, now it's set to 3. Now I click on 1, it's now set to 1. But as you see, as my mouse goes over it, it kind of it rolls over such that the user can very clearly and quickly tell that this is the purpose of this control. You notice there's a slight flashing as well. That is because it is actually not making some sort of server kind of communication here. So that accounts for this kind of occasional flashing. Okay. But anyway, that is therefore now the kind of, you see now the ratings control is established in the page. You've seen how you've filled the rating control by creating the 4 important classes in the style sheet. Let's just go back and just look at that to remind ourselves. We have to create these very important 4 classes. The rating star, which tells us, let me just remind you, they don't need to be called this. It's your choice what they're called, but you do have to create the 4 classes which do the 4 things, namely, firstly, the first one, create the size and space necessary for each of the stars in the control. 1 representing a filled star, 1 representing an empty star, and 1 representing a saved star. Okay, and once you've created those 4 classes, they then have to be linked to the rating control by virtue of associating those classes with the kind of like fixed properties of star CSS class, empty star CSS class, filled star CSS class, and waiting star CSS class. Okay, so you associate those four classes with the 4 those 4 properties with the 4 classes you've defined, and then of course you need to have some default values set for the rating control. So now we've done that. We've done all of that. Now then, the next thing, however, is that we need to somehow what we'd like to do is show on the page when it first appears the average rating given by all users and the current rating given by the user, which typically will not be anything because they won't have been to that page yet. So that is the next task, and now to kind of wire all these things up to a database, we have to create a new table which is going to be holding our ratings in it, and we're going to have to creating all the various plumbing which associates choosing a rating with the rating that we've got.